I love being political at all the wrong, inappropriate times. There is nothing political about this talk. You could be a Republican, a Democrat, you could be purple, you could be whatever you want. Each and every one of us, US citizens, should go out and and work the election polls. There's nothing partisan about being a poll worker. It is everything about being an American citizen and standing up and supporting one of the core aspects of our democracy. What do poll workers do? They sustain the backbone of democracy. We have it drilled into our heads, the importance of voting. It is so important to vote. You will not have a voice if you do not vote. You will not be able to vote if no one is working at your polling station. You will not be able to vote if people cannot read the manual on how to set up the office, how to hang up the signs, how to turn on the electrical polling stations. That's fact. Each and every one of us owes it to ourselves, our history, to sign up to be a poll worker. My name is Nikita Joshi. I have now been a poll worker for quite a few elections over the years. I got to work in Ohio during the second Bush election. I worked in Illinois during the first Obama election. I got to work in California during a primary election. All amazing, fascinating experiences that at the same time energized the hell out of me and scared the crap out of me. Do you even know what is happening at these polling stations? If you haven't worked there, you have no idea what is happening. Let me tell you something, not even kidding. I am amazed that anybody's vote counts, just with the shenanigans that I have seen at these polling stations myself. The year was 2000. I was an impressionable senior in high school. I believed and bought the myth that if you just simply show up and vote, your vote will get counted and it will be done. And at the end of the night, the winner would be selected. I knew about the Electoral College, but not quite, obviously, to the extent we do now. I also learned a lot of new words that year. Hanging chads, pregnant chads, butterfly ballots. What the fuck are you talking about? They're talking about ballots. Literally the piece of paper that people were handed to, in this case the state of Florida, and were told to vote on. They had these little pulley things. You got to line up who you wanted to vote for and press the lever. But if you didn't push hard enough, you had a dimple chad. If you changed your mind halfway through and decided to vote for someone else, you had a hanging chad. Sometimes those votes were counted, sometimes they weren't. And God forbid you were given a butterfly ballot where the names were kind of on uneven lines, and then the hole where you're supposed to vote is on a different line, and you got to squint and line it all up together. I don't even know if I had the words to express how I felt, but I have to say that that was probably one of the most salient moments in my life, to really sit down and realize that you could go and vote, and you could go and do all the right things, but still your vote may not be counted. So then, fast forward, 2002. The government realized that they had a serious problem. Maybe it was just a problem in optics, who knows? Either way, they decided that they wanted to do something about it. And so they passed the Act, Help America Vote Act. This act gave money and resources and created a new commission, the Election Assistance Commission, to help to resolve some of the issues that were discovered and had a light shed upon it after the 2000 election. Some of the things they did, they gave money to help update old aging technology. They wanted to help people get rid of those ballots, the butterfly ballots, and have more electronic voting. They wanted to give money so that an aging poll worker population could be energized by putting more money to give people some pay, and also to energize and recruit college students to go and work the polls. And that's how I became involved as a college student. That was the year that I worked during the second Bush election. This is my call to action for each and every one of you. I want you all to go and sign up to be a poll worker. What do poll workers do? What do they look like? They all look like you and me because they're all just ordinary citizens who have decided to go and do something on the day of election. Poll workers have to go through some level of training. The amount of training is dependent on the state. They go the day of the election bright and early in the morning, 6 a.m., and they set up the poll station. They hang signs in places, multi-language signs, depending upon what precinct you are in. They set up the boxes. They read the protocols and the manuals, and they also set up electronic booths, which, trust me, is really, really confusing and hard to do. Then they set up a little table, and they smile as the people start to come in. They say, what ballot would you like? They hand you the right ballot. You go and you vote. You come back. They tell you which box to put your ballot in. You put it in there. By the end of the night, they go and they count all the ballots. They put everything in the right box, and then they seal it with a tamper-proof label so that it can then be shipped to the regional center to then eventually get counted and go on from there. It seems really easy. Trust me, it actually is pretty complicated. All the more reason for why people who have the ability to read confusing protocols and follow them, no matter how insane they may seem, need to be poll workers. How can you be a poll worker? Go to this website. It's awesome. It's easy. Every state has different requirements, and it will list out by your state what the requirements are. In fact, where I am in California, it is still not too late to sign up to be a poll worker. Each and every one of you, go do it. Go find someone to work your shift. November 6th, you can do it. Every state has different requirements. They also have different age requirements. There are some states that will allow high school students to come and not necessarily be handing out the ballots, but can be there to help direct traffic. Those of you who have kids that are in high school, send them there. Better than a day at school, I would think. And then different amounts of training that they have to do. Why should you, as an emergency medicine doctor, sign up to be a poll worker? I bring it down to 3 very simple reasons. The number one reason, we love mass casualty events. We love rare, catastrophic, rarely occurring events. There's nothing out there that gets our pulse pounding than something like that. What is more unlike that than an election? High stakes. We love that shit. Go to the poll. Go work it. We have the ability to read the most ridiculously created manuals and follow them to a T. We know it doesn't make sense, but we'll still do it because we have to. Those manuals for training, trust me, just like that. The most important reason for why we should all be poll workers is that we will do anything and everything that it takes to get our patients/citizens the help that they need when they need it. We know our patients come to the emergency department at the most dire moments of their lives. We move heaven or earth. We will even call the surgeon in the middle of the night to get them admitted. We do that for our patients. Do that for our citizens. There's nothing more important than the health of our country. Come, help people who want to vote. Help them get their vote counted. We all need to do that. In all seriousness, elections are really challenging. Some areas are more funded than other areas. When I was in Cleveland in college, I was in inner city Cleveland, the lines to vote for that election were so long out the door. People waited in the snow and in the cold hours, no joke. My last election I worked was in Palo Alto, night and day experience in terms of how it was run, how long the lines were, etc. The bottom line is, again, we will do what it takes to make sure our people are able to vote. The patients that we have who come to our help, we do whatever it takes to get them the help they need. We would not accept a line like this in our waiting rooms. Why do we accept lines like this for our election polls? Come, do something about it. It doesn't take medical training to be able to come out there and do what it takes to get this stuff done. I want each and every one of you to pick up this call to action and come to do it. There's nothing more patriotic than doing that. It's not a blue issue, a red issue. It is an issue about being a citizen and wanting to support the core aspects of our democracy. FIX is all about fixing problems. Come, go do something about it. Our country depends on us doing that. Thank you.